bus stop, and then the Clammy Lanny.
All the trains are out of it.
No, just the train was. Last night I got back from Worthing. Yeah. I almost get on my Victoria line. Whole bloody station Victoria evacuated. Iris on the other hand managed to get on her and she was home.
Where is Iris?
Good question.
Honestly,
the thing is,
can't get the staff.
She's got some bit of her leg she's going to do. She's got isn't working. Got to get a bus.
Oh. Just the lack of shouting in.
No men.
No, well, you know they're usually there and
blaring. Well, and there's no stall set up. No free Quran or
I'm
anything.
thinking.
I know.
I want to start going to do like on camera interviews with the Free Quran people. I thought it's about time we address the Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah. Mm. Well, I thought what I might do is ask local women, like, are you free Wednesday afternoon? I'm going to come to your town and we'll go out and we'll do some vox pop kind of things. Might go to Tower Hamlets, see if I can find a face.
Just go straight into the belly.
Well, I'd like to ask the men. I don't know if I want to necessarily ask the women, although obviously it's sometimes their choices, but I want to ask some of the men what's so frightening about a woman's face.
It's also, do you know what this makes you look like?
Yes.
Very weak, flaccid, tiny men.
They live in their little bubble, don't they?
Yeah, well, I think it's about, we've been polite for too long, accepting things that,
girl, don't be too polite.
well, I said to that woman today, who was in the nice hotel, we're overlooking Hyde Park, and she was eating, I don't know how she was going to eat breakfast, to be fair.
Oh, what, through all of this?
Yeah, and she had all black. And so I just said, as I was leaving, free your face. I've started saying it a lot. I say it a lot now. I was walking through London with my husband and my son, and I'm on camera, by the way. Not here. Yeah, And I was walking through, and they go, "Oh, all right," and they'll just go like this. They'll just walk away, and I'll just walk past some women saying, "Free your face, ladies." It's always like smiley, and I look at them and I smile, and I smile and I say, "Free your face, ladies."
What jammy donut is that?
Yeah. Who? What? Oh, you made it. Come this side. Yes. No. Come this side. That's on. That way. You all right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good. I'm also here. Right. Yeah, that'd be great. We're live. Yeah. So all that stuff you said about Iris.
Yeah, I know. It's all
Oh God, I'm so unwell. Morning. I'm mic'd and I'm on live, but
okay. So
just in
I can
call
call you a Nazi and everyone will hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Nancy. I go by Nancy these days.
Bloody hell, that got a bit lively yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I said to my security, one-on-one, I could take them all.
Yeah.
Just one-on-one. They're all a bit.
Oh God, but even
I call them an unwashed noise. I felt that was quite a good collective for them.
But just the absolute racket. Oh my God! Because sometimes when you watch the video, you can't hear how loud it is.
Well, normally I have a really good microphone, and I don't know where the cable is. So normally what you hear is that, and so all the sound goes through there, and it's got this gain on it, so you can't actually hear them.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that yesterday, so
it was all just what you could hear. It was
and it was quite deafening. And I actually, from the police point of view, like a lot of them had things in, but there was some of the policewomen were like my size and tiny. And I don't know. How tactical can you be with like when they were, obviously when there was a line of police pushing them back, there were loads of police. There were more police than women.
Maybe you can't say that. Was it like a police officer got assaulted?
Yeah, kicked really hard, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. I think so. It might be at the beginning of our thing, because you saw them. They did keep trying to push.
Yeah.
Just fucking assholes, aren't they?
Hopefully they'll throw the shit in then, because if sort of gets an officer, it's always
Well, I mean, I said I was talking to one of the officers at the end, and I just said, the thing that gets me is if they had St George Cross flags and Union flags, you would have treated them totally differently, especially when they were trying to push through the police lines. They would have all been bundled in the back of a wagon and they'd have been taken off. And I think we don't like that. And I think it's about time that the police recognise that actually they're very dangerous. They're beyond, they think they're above the law.
Legitimised because you go past a town hall and they've got a trans flag, right?
Yeah.
It's like all of these institutions are all quiet and wearing their lanyards and all this. But yeah, exactly. I'm not going to say too more now.
Okay. Yeah. She said fine. Okay, thanks. I thought you were telling Stella. Actually, if I do see the police today, I want to get hold of the nice older guy that runs it here. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing, Mary. I was going to stand here because most people are over there.
So do you want me to turn it around?
Yeah, please.
Like that?
Yeah, just like that. Sorry about that.
You want to pile everything up together?
Oh, why? Oh, why?
Honestly, something's passing through the seventh house or something. It's going to go wrong. It can go wrong. It will go wrong.
What, today?
Just this, for me, this whole 2 weeks. It's just been a
I've got a friend into astrology, and he's always talking about
It'll be Mercury in regression.
Mercury retrograde.
That's what they always say. Yeah. I don't know whether it's true or not, but whatever it is,
They're just obsessed with Mercury.
shit's happening. But eventually it passes. Hello, love.
Hello. Just to let you know, I am on camera.
I know. How you keep going is amazing. And I know that you've been unwell all week.
I have. I'm at the end of a very busy spell. So,
Bloody
thank
fantastic.
you very much.
And I got my scarf yesterday.
Oh, did you? Well done. They're nice, aren't they?
They're gorgeous.
I've got-
I love the chiffon, and I bought that in case it cools down.
Very nice. Don't think it's any danger of you wearing that
No, I
today.
don't.
Flags, isn't it, people? Hello. I'm going to start. Can I just say these are coming back in, so if you've ordered one, if you want one. Everyone's just chatting. Just give me a sec. Look at that. I need to do it the other way around, don't I? Okay. Tough Island. Oh, hello. Oh, how lovely to see you all. This is going to be the wrong angle for me, Mary. I'm going to probably have to speak like I've taken testosterone. Mary, if you step on my stuff, I'll break your other arm. Don't get me started about what she's been saying about being left and right-handed. It's nothing that anybody needs to know about. sorry. That's Mary, everyone. Mary. Okay. So for me, talk about myself. It's the end of a very, very busy many weekends. And so we're going to make this one fantastic. And all of you who have a voice, you are going to speak. Because I don't know about you, but even I'm getting fed up with my voice. I've been speaking far too much. Yesterday, we went to Worthing. So well done, everyone who came to Worthing. Well done. I'm not going to lie. There felt like there were more police than women. Probably more police women than attendees. And that was because, fear breeds fear. So the fewer people that come, the fewer people feel they can come. So in many ways, it's your fault if you didn't come, that people felt they couldn't come. So that's number one. And number two, the behaviour and number of trans rights activists who, let's face it, are men's rights activists. Oh yeah, if she falls on you, she'll sue you. I'm just saying. You can stay if you call me that. So the trans rights activists, I don't want to call them that though, because they're not. They're the arseholes. Thanks. The unwashed noise, what they did is they come and they're aggressive and intimidating, and then they start shouting, there are many, many more of us than you, which is weird for a minority. When they keep talking about them being a vulnerable minority, to start shouting that there are many, many more of them than us is kind of a little bit against what the message that they normally give is. But anyway, they were aggressive, they were violent, a police officer was assaulted, so I'm really hoping for some proper criminal justice for that particular individual. And then they really surge forward, like when we're leaving. And I say to them, surge forward when we're there. No, don't. But they got all excited when we were going to leave, as if it was their choice. We were like, okay, we finished, we're going to leave. And they're like, yeah, now you're going to leave. Yeah, now we are going to leave. We're going to go and have a nice time. And the place that we went next, there were two little informants, two young women that then came and took photographs of the venue. I'm not going to lie, it took everything for me not to walk in the church and start singing Amazing Grace, just for the sound, for my own pleasure. But yeah, it was very lovely. And the verger, is it called a verger? Anyway, she was lovely, and she was from Zimbabwe, and so she went out looking to see if any of the trans activists were around. She was going to tell them to clear off. But that's because she's from Zimbabwe and she's hard as nails, that verger. But anyway, how I normally start this, which may not sound great today. I mean, it might not sound great any day. What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being a... Oh, well done. I want to share a little bit of the after event. So we go to this little church so I can fund my extravagant lifestyle with merch sales. And thank you so much, all that contributed. I'm off to a nice European city. No, I'm not. But thank you. And to those women that keep talking about my husband being rich, can I just remind them of when you get married, if my husband's rich, I'm rich. I mean, neither of us are rich, but that's by the by. But can you just stop with this sexist bilge that my husband remains rich and I'm just a poor grifter by his side, because that doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, so we go into this pub and everyone's lovely. There's a brand new flag as you walk in that's like a Pride Progress flag, and we were all a bit, what's gonna happen? And then this voice, we're all sat down, and this voice brings over the food, and the voice is like this: hello, has anyone got, I don't know, burger and chips? Here you are. Do you want anything with that? Would you like salt? Would you like sauce? Tomato ketchup? Nice little high female voice. Look up, and she's either wearing a binder or she's had her breast removed, and her face is full of stubble, and she's got really short hair, but she's female. Like, she's female anyway, but to be moderately sexist, she's so female. She's really feminine. There's not a hint of gender non-conformity, whatever that might be. I think it's bullshit, but anyway. But there's no hint that she thinks she's anything other, like her voice and her mannerisms. There's no hint of anything other than feminine girl, right? And she's got to serve all of us. And she's pleasant, and she's smiley, and she's professional, and she's friendly, and she's really lovely. And it's heartbreaking. I'm not going to lie, it's awful. And I'm thinking, who gave her the hormones? Who prescribed that girl? Hello, that girl. Who prescribed her the hormones? How on earth did she think for a moment that was going to make her feel better about whatever it is she's trying to escape or resolve in her life. And it was just really, really extraordinarily sad. Because you can kind of get it when, I can't get any of it. Let me just say, it's all bullshit and wrong and ridiculous. But you can sort of understand it, why someone might have been persuaded to go down that route when they are a little bit more something. Although I have to say, I've yet to meet any of them who aren't really incredibly feminine, female, apologetic almost. You know, that real female kind of, oh, okay, excuse that female behaviour. Men don't do that. That would have been, do you want sauce? You haven't got cutlery? Who the fuck cares? Like, I'm not saying all waiters are like that. Anyway, so at the end, I went over and I gave her a really generous. I gave her a tip and I said, thank you so much. You were really friendly and professional. And I'm sure it must have been quite difficult for you. And she said, yes, it was. And I said, but you were brilliant. And you were brilliant at, you know, waitressing. Because I thought, I don't want to then just be a bit of an asshole at the end of it. And I just said, it really meant a lot to all of us, how professional and friendly you were in these circumstances. Thank you very much. And I left her with that. And so, you know, Nazis, often hearts of gold. Hearts of gold. But genuinely, Nazis, hearts of Nazi gold. But genuinely, all night, I just kept returning to the questions. Who did this to this girl? Like, how did she do this to herself? And it must be a repeated story everywhere. These are just girls. There's nothing remarkable or unique about them at all. They're just wrong. And they've got people around them who are also devastatingly wrong, who are quite happy to use them to be seen as a better person. Because whatever happens, there's going to come a point in her life where she knows that this is all bullshit, and she knows that everyone around her that assisted her doing this actually did it for their own personal gratification, and it was never anything to do with her. And I think it's really quite shameful. So I'm looking forward to those, you know, that lack of accountability. You know, when nothing happens, when we all realise, when finally everyone realises that it's the most despicable thing that's happened to these kids and no one is held accountable, and it's a system or a process. And that's going to be the same with the grooming gangs inquiries. It's going to be a system and a process. It's going to be, well, maybe chicken shops should shut at 10. You know, that will solve girls being gang raped. Like, maybe we just don't have as many taxis in the town centre. That will save those girls being gang raped. Maybe we should have fewer detentions, and we should have more social care visits. That will stop groups of Pakistani Muslim paedophiles raping these girls. Like, we're never going to get to the point where we say, that chief of police there, he was also raping the girls. He was also connected to the drug gangs that they were connected to. He's also a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. Like, we're never going to get to that point. And that's why you're going to see many, many, many more people who are really angry about that, marching about the other stuff that's going to totally erupt in this country over the next few weeks. And can I just ask anyone, especially if you're a feminist writing, can you try and get the right angle before you fuck everybody off to the point that they never read another thing you ever say? So stick that iron brew somewhere else. Okay, well, we're not just here for me to go on and on. What time's this? Oh, along with the quinoa. It's quinoa time. It's a joke from yesterday. We all know it's quinoa. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, Ira says it's Ecuadorian food. I think she's lying. Okay, would anybody else like to speak? Yes, Stella. Stella is local legend, local Bristol legend. All right, let me pin that on you. Thank you all.
Hello, Bristol Turfs. Bristol, anybody from Bristol watching on the live stream? I'm one of those people that the incels come on the live stream and they go, "Oh, is it a bloke?" Well, you know, hello there. No, I never got them chopped off when I was 17, which is probably what you would have preferred. But, you know, back in those days, we were still gender non-conforming. We still had all the abuse. All that still happened to us. We still carried knives for protection at school. I did that at my secondary school in the 1970s. None of this is new. It's just wearing a frock today. That's the only difference. It's just antagonistic male misogynist violence against women and girls. It's never changed. It's just wearing a new uniform. So you might remember that Kellie-Jay stood for Parliament in Bristol last year. We've also got at least 2 candidates here that I've seen, maybe 3. I think we've got 3 alongside Kelly here today, which is brilliant. I was helping out at the time and went to the one hustings she was allowed to speak at. She was banned from other hustings. So, you know, I go back a long way with Bristol politics. I've stood as an independent myself. I stood back in the day for the Liberals. That's the old Liberals, not the Liberals, no Democrats, as they are today. So since all this has happened, we find that women are afraid. Women are afraid to get involved in politics anymore. They get abuse. It doesn't matter what party they stand for, they get terrible abuse. And women from all political parties say the same sort of thing happens to them. So it's not unique to being a women's rights activist. If you stood for Parliament or stood for the council, you said, I'm going to get a shed load of abuse, you would anyway, regardless of what party you stood for. Okay, so, you know, you have to accept that's the way it is at the moment. So in Bristol, what we've been trying to do is make women less afraid to come out, make them less afraid to meet in public. We've been holding a whole series all year round of events. We did one on International Women's Day. We did a suffragette walk around the local jail, which is where suffragettes were held and force-fed. We do a suffragette graves walk for Halloween. We're going to do another one this year. We have regular monthly meetings. And we had a wonderful action in Portishead 2 weeks ago, Portishead Marina. Loads of the public came up to the stall and got engaged. It was all about teachers and it was all about schools and toilets and so on. Wonderful day. And it just goes to show that if you can, you know, use other women for support and just get together, yeah, it can be done. I'm not saying you can go marching into the first cafe where all the troons meet. I'm not saying that. But pick your venues, get to know the venues, and it can be done, even in Bristol, which is one of the worst cities in the country for this. So I'd just like to say, anybody in Bristol, near Bristol, we've got a turfrance coming up, 13th of September, the same date as the big march in London. So if you don't want to be kettled by the police in central London with no toilets to get to, come to our turfrance in Bristol instead. Women from all different groups are being invited, Women's Rights Network, Women of Wessex. They're very welcome because we want to get more people interested in Let Women Speak, more people, more women unafraid to come out and meet and do actions and in public. And so you'd be very welcome. So please get in touch with me if you want to come, radicalcartoons@gmail.com. You're very welcome to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So it's nearly the end of the school holidays, everyone. And some of you might have kids going on to colleges or sixth forms, where, as far as I'm concerned, it's worse than schools. What's going on at colleges and sixth forms, because they're still children, they're still legally minors. But you won't find, in many of these places, you won't find a female-only toilet or a male-only toilet. And the prevailing narrative, overwhelmingly, is that this whole gender stuff is virtuous, correct, and the right side of history. And it's, what's that? Kind. Hi. If you want to shout out, you're gonna have to do it clearly. I'm quite deaf. Anyway, so what is that? Salsa dancing. Okay. Anyway, so what I encourage you to do, because also when your kids go to these places, they're in a lot and there's a lot of downtime. They might be forced to stay in all day if they're in a sixth form, or if they're at a college, there'll be loads of these clubs where they're expected to be virtuous and kind. So I just beg of you to go and have a look at that college or sixth form, have a look at their policies, because your kids are probably more vulnerable at a sixth form to this utter shit than they would be at a school. So that's something to look out for. Obviously, if your child's going to university, I'm just going to say this, unless they're going to come out with a degree that means that they get a better job, then if they don't, 50 grand to be indoctrinated and ostracised and felt like shit for disagreeing for 4 years, 3 years, it's just not worth it. And I don't know about you, but I've listened and seen some of the professors that still work at universities, or would like to, that's really fucking annoying, or would like to work at, or would like to work at universities, but actually aren't employed. But these people, I've heard them talk, and often I just think, I used to think you'd have to be clever to be a university professor, and now I sort of think it means that you couldn't get a better paid job. Sorry. And they're struggling to be virtuous just the same as the students. In fact, some of them, this is their life. They've gone probably nursery or au pair, school, college or sixth form, university, job at university. So their period of adolescence doesn't seem to have really moved on at all. They don't seem to have left adolescence. So they're still kind of rabidly leftist and pro men and women's spaces. And so really do have a think when you sit down with your child and they're planning their life course. Just have a think, the end place where they want to be, is that going to be achieved by going to university in a time when actually it's not like when I was at uni, where it's like if you don't learn anything about your academic subject, you at least can do loads of growing up, parties, kind of the university life. They don't really even have that anymore. The kids are barely drink and have sex. I don't even know what the point is of going to university, but they don't seem to be doing these things which actually inform you later in life. You take all these risks at uni and at college. You're taking these risks and you're learning lessons, and hopefully the risks you take don't get you killed or any devastating consequence, and you learn by them, and then you make better, more informed decisions as you get older. But they get none of that. So their university life is merely indoctrination and debt, and not a lot else. So that's all I want to say about unis. I don't want to say it was just my letter, because apparently there was a court case. But the EHRC has now decided to do its job. I would like to see the EHRC fine itself for what it's done. If you have a look at many of their guidance, advice and interventions over the last few years, they were pro the gender recognition reform. They were pro making it easier for men to get documentation to enter women-only spaces. So they didn't know the law. They needed the Supreme Court clarification, which frankly is quite shameful for a very well-funded regulator to not do its job. So the good thing about what they're now doing is when they write to the police or a university, when a government regulator writes to another sort of arm of the government, as it were, they will have to do as they're told. It's not like I don't know, Sussex police are going to get written to about from the regulator and they're going to say no. And just to make one quick comment on the government, I am absolutely quite in despair and disgusted that the people of Epping took the government to court to get safety in their town and won, and the Ministry of Justice, is it? Basically appealed that decision and went against the people. I think we are in a really, really dangerous time where things are going to erupt. And I'm just going to say to each, well, we don't need to say it because we're mostly women, but the purpose is to goad you into a situation where you do something, where we all do something collectively, the people who don't like it do something, where they can introduce more legislation to prevent our freedom. So I'm just going to ask everybody, whatever it is, don't. Whatever it is, if a policeman pushes you, it's a terrible thing, don't push him back. If a policewoman pushes you, it's a terrible thing, but don't push her back. We just can't enter into this bit where we give, it feels like that's what they want from all of us. They want they're provoking us, and I think we've got to do everything to remain civil. You know, we have by necessity, but also because we are civil. I don't know if any of you saw, I was not quite so civil when I saw people protesting outside of Cursed Child. So young women doing the speaking. It's always young women. I've read 1984. It's always the young women that do the bidding of these, and these, I like to call him Big Face Dave. Big Face Dave from Trans Legal Clinic. And I call him Big Face Dave because he's got a really big face on a really large skull. And at first, when he was sort of over there, I did say she, and I hate myself for that. I really do. I hate myself for it a lot. But he was, these men, there was another guy that looked a bit like the man that was in America with the beard.
Yeah, can you put up there, the start?
Ah, thanks, Mary. Anyway, Big Face Dave and his friends. There was Beardy, and there was the guy with all the ones, and they were loving it. They were loving seeing, and then if you said anything to these kids, they were like, "You're harassing kids. You're harassing kids." But they were making them all do it. It was really quite gross, but a nutshell of what was going on. And they just kept putting these things in my face, just totally in my face, and then this flag across my face. And so I did that with the flag, not aggressively either. I did that with the flag, moved it. And it must have moved one of their hands who touched Big Face Dave on Big Face Dave's arm. He had a big arm. So Big Face Dave's big arm with his giant hands got a slight touch from one of the women, and he went, "Ah!" And I just went, "Oh, I was like, you're such a liar." And then I think the kids call it a roadman. So a roadman had seen them surround me, a young urban man. So this young black guy had seen them surround me, and he was trying to be nice, but he said this: "Back away from the old lady." No, old women. It was worse. It was old women. "Back away from the old woman, bruv." Like this. And then they were like, "Stay away from the kids." And he said, "Oh, shush, Julia." And I thought, I'll still take it because he's defending me. And then apparently he got arrested not long after I left. But it was very interesting because they were all like in my face, leaflets in my face, stuff surrounding me. And then he was like, "What are you going to do, bruv?" Like this. And they just all were like, "Oh." So if they, look, it just explains that if they genuinely thought we were far right, if we were the people that they called far right, they wouldn't have surrounded any of us. And it's very interesting that people were walking by, like people that had paid a fortune to see a very long play, a fortune, and this woman just walks by, full on London. She goes, "What the fuck are they wearing fucking masks?" And I was like, "Yes, sister, I agree." So anyways, that was interesting, and I will recap with some other shit in a minute. Who else would like to speak? Yes. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, fumbling.
Right.
Right, hang on, have I just switched? No, I haven't. I'm going to pin this on you.
Okay. I did write a lot of things down, but I think I'm going to ad-lib.
Oh, shit, sorry. There you go.
So I over bleached my hair a couple of years ago, so I had a pixie cut, and now I seem to be turning into Kellie-Jay Keen. And I've got sunglasses on top of my reading glasses. Anyway, so I didn't wear like white rimmed glasses or a jumpsuit because I thought I might get like lynched. Like I'm probably not going to read it anyway. So I watched Worthing yesterday, and one of the things that's disappointing me is I came here 2 years ago and there was like hundreds of women, and it seems to be getting smaller and smaller. So when I watched Worthing yesterday, I was like, you bastards, right? I immediately, from Bournemouth, said, I'm going, even though I hate London. So I want to talk a little bit about Bournemouth. Because it was so quick, I was doing a very quick analysis. I'd heard it anecdotally about how bad it is in Bournemouth. Like I'm quite lucky. I live sort of in a posh town to the left, about 3 miles to the left. Two lesbian. Yeah, oh God, don't even talk to me about that. I've got all sorts of waifs and strays. But like Bournemouth is somewhere where people have historically, even from my childhood from the 1970s, you go there for your holiday. They've got 3 hotels with migrants, right? There's been I was trying to look at the stats last night and this morning, but it's just like a horrendous increase in statistical increase in sexual assault. There was a carer that went into an 80-year-old woman's home and raped her, and that was in Bournemouth, right? It's got like billions and billions of holidaymaker sort of revenue, right? And now no one wants to come. I will never go into Bournemouth, right? I've got a young girl that lives with me. She's my lodger, but I'm sort of her mum a little bit because she's had a hard childhood. And she's like a supermodel, right? And she's very funky. She's not like stripper wear, but just beautiful. Men love her, women love her, animals love her. I bought her a rape alarm because she was in uni in London, and I bought her 2. I meant to mention it because it was a woman whose daughter was raped actually set it up, and it's an alarm that just goes wah, sets off loads of things. I bought her 2 because she was living in London, and now I think she needs it more living in Bournemouth. And I probably was going to say a lot more, but it's more about the percentage of sexual assault that goes on in Bournemouth, right? And I'm like, what the hell's happening, right? I'm not prejudiced. I'm not right wing. I'm not against Muslims. My niece is married to a Muslim. She's Catholic, right? But these illegal immigrants, there's 3 hotels in Bournemouth, right? And what do you think the percentage of rape and sexual assault is gone like that? And I see this going on all over the country. The ladies with the pink shirts, I love them, right? And I noticed yesterday there was a load of people, a load of tras, the police were holding hands to keep them away. But if you go to Epping or whatever to protest in a pink t-shirt and you're a grandma, right, you're going to get arrested, right? So yesterday when I just looked at Worthing, I was just like, right, I booked my train. I'm coming. I don't think enough people come along. And ladies, TERFs, please don't just Twitter. Come, show your feet. Oh.
Well, no, you can have it.
Yeah, but I've got
I got it.
Can I just say, Paula is in a wheelchair and she came to Worthing, so she likes a bit of argy-bargy. She likes a bit of Willy Boy, don't you? Like a bit of India. Yeah, and Pakistan. She's not prejudiced. She's a sad, yeah, she is. I mean everywhere. I keep trying to say I saw you in Belgium, but I haven't been to Belgium for about 25 years. It definitely wasn't there. Was it Madrid? You came to Madrid as well. Where did you come? That was. I've seen you. Maybe it was Dublin. Oh well. Anyway, I see Paula everywhere. It's like Sixth Sense. It's like Sixth Sense. I just see Paula everywhere. Anyway, that was a joke just for me. So we've dealt with schools. The police, I thought were really good yesterday. They could have pushed them back a little bit, but the police were really good. They are learning, so that was great. And this is Sussex Police third time trying to protect us, and the first 2 times they were dreadful. And so this time round, I was delighted, utterly delighted that they worked so hard and there were so many of them. So we've done schools. What else do we need to talk about? Your local council, your council. So I went to see my local council, and one of the recently elected Liberal Democrat councillors, because I live in that sort of area where people don't quite want to vote Conservative, but they don't want Labour, right? And anyway, so it's Liberal Democrat she is, which actually has Helen Belcher. So in many ways, utterly shit. And she used to do gardening. She's got children the same age as my children. So when she said, so I went in, it was a day, it was like, hey, what do you think of Wiltshire Council? Come and tell us. And I thought, hey, I'm going to go and do that. And I think you all should, actually. I think you need to be looking people in the eye and talking to them about what it is. The policies that they put in place are not kind of academic, nice things to say. It actually has a material impact. So I asked her a question. She was like, my daughters are happy to use unisex spaces. And I don't believe her, and B, I wonder what's going on where her daughters feel they have to tell their mum that they are happy in unisex spaces. Because, and then she did the classic, so she did the classic lines of the disagreeing with people like us, like normal, truthful people. One of them was, oh yeah, but you know, I don't have a gender neutral toilet in my house. And I feel I was relatively funny when I said, well, I don't share my bed with random men either. But it is also a gender neutral space. And then she was talking about her personal opinion. I'd gone to ask her about the council. I couldn't actually give a shiny rat's arse about her opinion on anything, actually. But she kept talking about her opinion and what she goes, I think we're going to disagree. And I said, well, I'm here to talk about the law and about the council complying with the law. And she didn't even know half the issue. So she didn't know, for example, about the high incidence and the risk of sexual assault in unisex, so-called unisex spaces like changing villages. For example, in the first, I think it was 18 months, there were about 15, I think it might have been 16 months, and there were 15 sexual assaults, or 18 months and 15 sexual assaults. But certainly within under 2 years, there were 16 sexual assaults in the changing village in the Cardiff Olympic swimming pool that they built. So, and one girl had been sexually assaulted twice. Now, sexual assault can mean anything from voyeurism, indecent exposure, so cameras And then people were saying that there were little holes in their changing villages. Men had done holes. And we know that in a country like South Korea, for example, and I can't think why it wouldn't be here, that changing room voyeurism is like a porn genre. And Scottish Parliament. Yeah, but they're amazing up there. Poor Nicola. He's a Labour MP. Well, look, he's just testing out the new technology, and he just wanted to see women in a state of undress without their consent. So, you know, I would imagine eventually that will be a policy of some description for those particular parties, because it feels like that's what they're opening the door to anyway, so they might as well make it lawful. Yeah, so the little holes, and now you've got technology that enables a man, if he really wants, and I would say women, but we all know that's not true, so we'll just stick to the facts, that men who want to spy on women, there's plenty of technology to enable them to do that, and now there's plenty of policies that make it really easy for them, because actually a pervert trying to enter a woman-only space stands out a mile by the fact that we can see that he's a bloke and he's trying to enter a woman-only space, but a pervert putting a tiny little camera in a changing village, unisex changing room, we're going to have to start getting those sweepers where you can see if anyone's planted a camera in a space, because there's going to be a high prevalence of those in every one of those spaces, and we all fucking know it. And I'd understand, when I mentioned that to this woman, she didn't know anything about the greater risk. And she would have definitely been in council meetings where she would have been making decisions or having discussions on whether or not that should be a female-only space or a unisex space, and to not know that women and children are more at risk in unisex spaces is a dereliction of duty and a dereliction of what she's actually elected to do, which is do right by the electorate and the constituencies that she represents. So it's not funny, Julia. That's Julia, not Julia Long, it's Julia over there. I'm joking. Okay, anyway, who else would like to speak? Yes, Paula. I'm afraid if you have a penis, you have to wait till all women have spoken. Sorry about that. Not you, Paula, we know that you don't have one. Did you bring the ones in the jar?
Are you badges? Okay. I've got to do it on your stuff, otherwise apparently does it all right?
Well, Mary. Don't want to be told off with Mary. Hi everyone, I'm Paula, and I live here, and I come from the lovely city of Brighton.
She is a real woman.
I am a real woman, according to India Willoughby. Yeah, right, not? So I'm here to talk about autism and children. My son is 25 and he's autistic, and thank goodness, literally by the skin of the teeth, he finished school before the gender ideology got in there. But it upsets me, and this is what my passion is, that these children are being told that they're not autistic, they're born in the wrong body, and they're led on this path to this trans ideology. And as a mother, as we all are, we're there to protect our children. And what these monsters are doing to autistic young adolescents, who it's hard enough for girls and boys to be going through puberty, but it is very much,
You carry on.
it's very much harder for children with autism because of their senses and noise, and of course they are very vulnerable. I mean, Matthew was very lucky that his education was tailored to him, but it's all gone. It's all, you're not autistic, there's no such thing as autism, you're transgender or non-binary. When will it stop?
When will these children be given the proper guidance and not this bullshit that is trans ideology? And it despairs, like Kelly said earlier, these poor girls that are having their breasts removed. Some girl was bragging on the internet that she was having a hysterectomy, and she was 19 years old. In this country. I mean, I can't even remember being 19. I think I might have been drunk quite a lot of the time, but you know, I certainly wasn't thinking about stuff that they just let them be who they are, help them, but do not lead them down this path. It is getting so bad. We have to really stand firm, all of us, all of you out there. You've got to stand firm and help. Thank you. And Mike, me.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Actually, I might just pinch that on there. You alright?
Run over now.
The dog, no, not really. You have to wait till the end, love. Okay, so we dealt with schools. Nurseries is the same, by the way, and now the government want your kids in from about 3 minutes old. And that's exactly the same in nurseries. They have these policies. The NHS. So I went to the national, the Nursing and Midwifery Council. I just want to tell you a tiny bit about what you can do every time you see it. So part of the NHS whole kind of deal is that public trust, right? It's really important, apparently. I mean, it's not, but they claim it's really important. And I think if they really meant it, we would have had a very different picture over the last sort of 6 years than we have, and they wouldn't have been, since what, the late 90s, they wouldn't have been dicking around with children's fertility. So I don't think it's true. However, it is according to be registered as a nurse, and I would have thought the same for the doctors, that part of the thing that you can get unregistered or deregistered is that if you put the NHS into disrepute, so if you make the public lose trust in the NHS. Now, I think if you go to your doctors or you go to a hospital appointment and there are nurses with Pride or Pride Progress lanyards, any of them, quite frankly, any of them, or any political symbol whatsoever, I think you should then report that nurse. It's going to sound terrible. Report that nurse to the NMC. Now, what we know is that they're not going to lose their jobs, right? We know that. But what we also know is that enough of you do it all the time, causing admin for the NMC, there will come a point where they'll put out a policy saying you're not allowed to have these things. The public are losing confidence in the NHS. So this is not about targeting individual nurses, although some of them I'm quite happy to. And some of the doctors, I'm quite happy for them to lose their jobs. Some of them that record women who say they don't want to be in a ward with a man as transphobic, I think they should lose their fucking jobs. I'm quite happy for that. I'm quite happy for every single doctor that has ever signed a prescription for puberty blockers to lose their jobs. For any nurse that's doing some sort of patch up on an unnecessary double mastectomy, I'm happy for them to lose their jobs. You can keep clapping, but I might go through the whole list. Anyone signing up for the new the Chelsea and Westminster Mengel wing, where they're gonna make phalloplasties. And just for people at home, if you don't know what a phalloplasty is, let me tell you. I heard it described wrongly the other day. So they use this part of the arm as like a tube to fashion and sew somewhere underneath the belly button above the vagina. Usually not really in the same place as a man would have his penis, because we don't have the same bodies, weirdly. And I've seen some of these, and sometimes they're not even center. Like, it's so disgusting. It's disgusting anyway. So they cut this bit off, and then they repair it with this bit of the leg. And I've seen, in fact, we had big 6-foot posters of when they get necrosis on here, and then they have to replace it with this bit, and they just patch up these girls. And anyway, so Chelsea and Westminster are going to do this. There is no sensation. There are a few men here. You don't have to confirm or deny, but I'm pretty sure that a woman's forearm hasn't the same sensitivity as a man's penis. I don't know this. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. And also, they don't have quite the same look either. Not even if you squint and you're a couple of miles away, they don't look like penises. Have you? Jesus Christ. Disgusting. Why? Why bring that filth here, Menno? It's true. It's so disgusting. Anyway, and also, some of these girls then call themselves gay men, which I don't think gay men like vaginas. I'm just going to put that out there. Oh dear. Anyway, so let me get back to the point. Although I am going to have to do a free your faces, ladies, in a minute. Just going to tell you. If you want to all look away, you can. So anyway, I don't think they're going to walk past. So anyway. Chelsea and Westminster are going to do. They want to do up to about 250 of these operations a year, and they were asking for. There's a nursing speciality where your job is to patch up kind of wounds that don't want to heal. And that is required on this particular ward because what they know more than anything is that, no, not all together. Not all together. No, not all to fucking hell, Veronica. No. I know. Free your faces, ladies. No.
Seriously.
Right. So, but to be fair.
Oh, I'm sorry, shouting en masse at 3 women, like, no, shut up. To be fair.
Just unbalanced.
No, but they're not. That's not Afghanistan. That's a man with 3 poor women. Anyway, so so that's what we're funding in this country to the tune of millions and millions, and they're going to do these operations, and they fail. There's one woman in America who had 31 corrective surgeries, and part of that was urinating from her anus. And it's just failure after failure. And they know that these surgeries don't work. And now we're going to be doing them on the NHS. So it's pretty damn shameful. And I just can't believe we're going to get in a place to do that. And there's something I think is behind this, right? And what's behind it is the people pushing for this know they can make a fortune. So they're going to enable the NHS to build this huge ward funded by the NHS, all the doctors and nurses trained by the NHS, and then what will happen is some of them will go half NHS, half private, and they will make an absolute killing. They will make an absolute killing. And we will have funded their training, and we will have funded this ward, and then we will have all these people making millions by harming vulnerable women and older teenage girls. And I think 18 will still be that, but nobody's a grown-up at 18. Nobody. Okay. Would anyone else like to speak? Yes, Julia. You might have more to say than you thought before. I'm more than entitled to your view. I think.
Hi everyone, lovely to see you all. I won't say sorry for that little outburst. I just genuinely felt it. I don't think we should be shouting at groups of women. But anyway, I just feel slightly spoilt for choice of all the different things that I could talk about this week. It's been a bit of a lively old week on social media. So I do feel there's quite a lot to choose from. First thing I want to say is really what a magnificent display of all the usual courage and conviction yesterday at in Worthing. Every respect and admiration for everyone who was there absolutely, absolutely magnificent. So I just wanted to say that. So I'm going to say something that maybe is going to antagonise everyone even more. I don't know. But I did think today, I actually brought along a few tissues and some water with me today, just in case there's any woman here who would like to free her face of any mascara or lipstick or foundation. I'm naming no names whatsoever, and it's just it's just, well, I'm differently to what happened before. I'm not shouting at you. I'm just saying it's an offer that you're so no, thank you. I actually rejected that quite a long time ago, but I'm actually making a serious point, because for years I did the whole makeup and all of that kind of business. A lot of hair removal, which was all very painful and yeah, quite horrible, and it all grew back again anyway, often more. And I just think, in a country where it is expected for young women to put all this stuff on their faces, I don't think our faces are free. They're not. And I don't know if any of you saw, but obviously there's been a lot. I'm not going to talk about the actual episode, but there was a lot about young women in Dundee. Hasn't there been a lot about young women in Dundee over social media since that video? I'm not going to say anything about that incident, but some of you probably saw the video that was put up by one of the young women who was there and was speaking as a witness. And although you might say, well, this is a total side issue, I did watch that video, and to see that young woman put layer after layer after layer of all this stuff on her face, I have to say, I thought, bloody hell, this has all moved on a bit from when, from when I was going down the disco in the 80s, and what we used to put on. And clearly, and I'm not making any comment about her, so please don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but clearly for her, the fact that she was giving all this information about the incidents that she'd witnessed whilst doing all of this, clearly showed to me that it's totally normal. It's totally normalized for her. It wasn't something sort of in any way remarkable. She was carrying on chatting and putting all this stuff on. And so I don't think that where young women feel obliged to do that, I don't think that they are experiencing physical freedom. And I'm not trying to equate in any way or detract from the horrors of women being shrouded in public, and the kinds of things that the terrible testimonies I know that Kellie-Jay has put has shared with us on X. Please don't misinterpret what I'm saying as in any way detracting from those horrors, but I'm not going to set up some kind of falsehood where we think that we are a part of this liberated West when I see women with poison injected in their faces, with acid injected into their lips, women dying, like not just the odd one or two now, but several women from this country dying of having the Brazilian butt lift procedure. What a euphemism. We talk about other forms of mutilation, but clearly that's a form of mutilation. We've got women who had silicone, industrial grade silicone shoved into their breasts, 10-15 years ago, as part of that that scandal, the French PIP scandal, and they're now walking around with bits of industrial grade silicone migrating around their bodies, and all the pain. I still don't think that they've actually received any compensation for that. So while all of this is going on, veneers is another thing. I heard a podcast a few weeks ago. These two young black women were talking about because they're these like influencers that I think they actually got these free veneers, which meant I don't think they fully understood, a bit like how young women are being encouraged to get hormones or whatever, puberty blockers. I don't think they fully understood the implications of what they were doing. And now their teeth they're only young, in their mid-20s, their teeth have been shaved down to stumps, and they've got to have these veneers over and over again. So in a country that where that is seen as totally normal, like all of these injectables, it's so normalized now. All the cosmetic surgery, another lovely euphemism, is totally normalized, where we've exported the porn industry between Northern Europe and America. We've exported like violent, hideous, dehumanizing, disgusting portrayals of sexual violence for men to masturbate to. We've exported that to other countries. I went to this XBiz convention about 15 years ago where the representatives from the American porn industry were talking about exporting their violent pornography to like new markets in India. So it's certainly not all one-way traffic that these men are coming over here and, you know, raping our women. Like, what about what our men are doing in Thailand, in Vietnam, in other countries in Southeast Asia, where they sit comfortably behind their computer screen watching these tiny girl children being raped and abused. So I just wanted to offer a little bit of food for thought before we get too carried away about what a wonderful culture we inhabit. Before they brought in this regulation, now they just brought in some regulation about the online porn, you know, the age verification. Prior to that, there were 3 million visits per day in this country, 3 million visits of this disgusting pornography in this country. The age verification, that was on Pornhub. The age verification has reduced that quite dramatically. We'll see how long it lasts. But while it's reduced it for Pornhub, other less regulated sites, it's all gone up there. So they've obviously all just gone somewhere else. So I don't think this culture that also, let's not forget, is setting about demolishing women's rights, and that we've all been involved in this struggle. Every single political party, well, maybe with the exception of one now, possibly, has been absolutely gung-ho to demolish all our rights. So I just offer that as some food for thought, that it's not a simple us and them. We've got plenty of homegrown horrors here as well, and that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. My face is free.
I think every woman, well, maybe not every woman, I'm acutely aware of the criticism of makeup, and I'm still quite happy to wear it because I've seen my own face. No, hang on. I'm just saying, I'm not under any illusion that I'm not coerced and manipulated into this look. But I'm also heterosexual, and my husband quite likes it, so I'm going to carry on doing it. I don't want to put. I just. He's got a free face.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
well, he hasn't. He's not allowed to take off that beard. So in many ways, well, he could. I just won't kiss him ever again. No, I know, but look, I think the feminist critique of makeup is justified and right, and yet there is no way on this earth that I'm not going to wear it. But I think it's a really important. I'm glad you said it here. I think it's a really important thing for girls to realise. Girls in my own kind of close circle, they both do this huge level of loads and loads of layers and layers and layers of this fucking Korean expensive stuff. Because they're TikToking and they're Instagramming, and their own faces are... We're in it. I think what it is, Julia, not that you're asking, but I think what it is girls now exist mostly in a still image. Like, that's their image. They don't live so much in their own bodies. Like, I'm a very vain person, and I was even worse. I know, it's a shocker. I'm really vain, and I spent a lot of time in the mirror, but probably when I was 15, I probably saw a photo of myself, maybe, I don't know, 6 times a year, maybe if it's a holiday, at Christmas, and then you'd wait 2 weeks. You wouldn't go and then go, oh, that's not great. You'd maybe hope that you didn't have the fucking sticker on your photos when they came back. But they have this consistent, am I good enough affirmation on Instagram all the time. And frankly, they never are. Because who is? Because I don't want to talk about myself so much, but in the mirror, I think we all have a narrative with ourselves that when we look in the mirror. So when I look in the mirror, I probably don't see this. I probably do see a bit of this, but I see myself quite different to how a camera sees me. How a camera sees me is a definite woman, definitely 50. Definitely 50, could do with losing a few pounds. Mirror doesn't say that. Mirror doesn't say that to me at all. And I think their interaction is consistently with the recorded image. And so, I mean, it's...
I'm not blaming them, you know.
No, yes.
The same argument I'm making.
Yeah.
Sort of that level of pressure.
I'm just expanding it so that I'm just carrying on because I feel relatively defensive and wrong. I think I know I'm wrong about makeup. There's no fucking way I'm not wearing it. I think you saw me in Washington without makeup. Do you remember? And I think you went, oh, you look so young. I was like, I'm putting it on. Conversely, I know a lot of girls. I didn't know any girls that didn't wear makeup when I was like 18 to 21. We all wore makeup. And I see a lot more younger women rejecting makeup completely, never wearing it, that sort of visit my home. So I think it's both very extreme, not at all, and then there's those that when they do wear it, they wear a lot. It's a lot. But I think that's still a little more preferable than going the other, like the rejection of it. I guess it's all part of the same theme. And the rejection of it for some girls is, I will not participate in that, therefore I will reject all of it. And I think all of that includes just being female. And it's all part of the same stuff. And these poor girls. Anyway, I thought I'd just say something because I feel like you just said that about makeup, and then I just come on and I'm the embodiment of fucking makeup and lipstick and all of those trappings. But not everyone looks as beautiful as you without makeup, Julia. So check your privilege.
Apparently, I don't know if it's still the fashion. A few years ago, it was actually a fashion to have a gap.
Yeah.
So I do.
Yeah. When you sang Jola Taxi, oh. But like, all jokes aside, you are a very attractive woman without your makeup. I'm not. You're no, but you could give right. Anyway, who else would like to speak?
Follow that.
Yes. You can speak for a minute. Oh, I keep touching the on-off button. Fine. No, these are not mine. Mary bought these because mine have gone.
Oh, rubbish. Hi, well, I haven't really thought much what to say, but just going back to where we were initially with policies and things like that, I've just been putting a couple of FOIs in. So I'm from Cambridgeshire, and I quite like needling politicians, our elected elites. And somebody alerted me, one of the troons in Cambridgeshire County Council put in a motion at the council the other week, or the woe is me, because of the Supreme Court we can't use the toilets anymore. Well, this bloke, he was the one who encouraged me to stand for Party of Women, because he told us to fuck off when we tried to give him a leaflet. So he really doesn't look like a woman, and neither does his mate, who also looks like a man. But they're moaning away, and they were at the council meeting, and you can listen to the speech. Cams and Hearts, WRN Cams and Hearts, I think I've got it as their pinned tweet at the moment. And one of the women from there, she actually went through and she took out all the speeches, and then I went through and I've written them all out, what each person said. But it is all just a bleat fest. It's my emotions, this, that and the other, woe is me, let me in. Anyway, so these men both come from East Cambridgeshire District Council. So I had a look at their equality policy, which said we will let anybody with a GRC into the toilets that they like. So I wrote to the council and I said, X, Y, Z, and are you aware of this, are you aware of that? And they came back and says, we're not going to answer your questions because we're waiting for advice from the EHRC. So I thought, well, bollocks to you then. So I put in an FOI and asked the same questions. And then I thought, well, why limit it to one district council? Put it to all 6 district councils in the area. And I think sometimes you just have to needle them. So now they've had to come back and answer the questions. And I think, you know, as women, get together with a group or different groups, or even do it on your own, and put in these questions to them and needle them, because it just gives you. So that backs up onto another FOI that I did a while ago. And so one of the councils come back and says, we don't have a policy on on trans people with the GRC. Well, why not? Because the policy's been in place, and so now why are they waiting for the HRC? So it just raises more questions. But sometimes you have to just do it. And at the same time, I realised that, you know, with all the Supreme Court and this, that and the other, that the school information, which I'd already told them was unlawful a year ago, was still in schools. And it should be updated. So I put in another FOI and said, when are you updating this LGBT toolkit? Well, they've come back and told me it was withdrawn from schools. Thing is, it may have been withdrawn, and I don't know when it was withdrawn, because somebody did tell me that a trans policy had been withdrawn from a school in December, and then I was writing about another school's policies, and I literally saw it disappeared within this 2-week space. It disappeared off their website. Now I've gone back and I've had a look at other schools, and they've also removed their trans policies, and some of them have removed their equality policies because they seem to be getting done by the trust. So it's worth keeping an eye on these places, because they do change it every couple of years. But so Cambridgeshire County Council, they've removed their LGBT toolkit from schools, but it's still in their policies. So you've still got a school from, I think it's from the Diamond Learning Trust, who say they're going to challenge heteronormativity when they hear about it, you know, in school. And this trust is one that I know they've had somebody coming in and telling parents that they have to go along with this trans stuff. You know, parents aren't given a different, any other alternative. So, although this policy, the toolkit has now been withdrawn, and Cambridgeshire, like a lot of other councils, have just lifted their advice from the Brighton and Hove toolkit. And I don't know if you're aware, that there was a KC called Karen Monaghan. She did a really good takedown of the Brighton and Hove toolkit, and it's online, I think, with Doyle Clayton, and it's really worth having a look at. And then FOI in your own councils and see what their advice is to schools, even from sort of like 2 years ago, even if they've withdrawn it now. Get their old advice. They can't hold it from you. But I just think it's worth challenging and persisting. And it's like sometimes just go off even somebody else's work, and just see an outlet and just go, oh, I'll just go down that route and just see where it takes you. But I think you have to do something, because sitting on Twitter's great, but it doesn't achieve much. And I think if we can get in, so like this one woman, like I said, she watched this thing in the chambers of this motion and what the response was, and it all passed. But from that, and then her putting the video clips up, I then went and thought, oh, I'll just do this, I'll do that, you know. But it wouldn't have got done otherwise. If one person doesn't do this, then somebody else doesn't take it forward. But then it's like putting that information together. But the councils are moving. They're moving their policies. Stuff's changing behind the scenes, but we don't know what, and we don't know what's prompted it. This toolkit had been removed before the Supreme Court. Because I looked at Longsands School and their policies at March, and they'd removed their trans between the middle of March and the 1st of April. It had gone. Another school had removed theirs in December. So that was before the Supreme Court. But you don't know this unless you're keeping an eye on the policies. And even if you can split it out between a couple of you. I mean, I do mine on my own. I've just picked my local town and I just go through occasionally. But you don't know what they're doing until you sort of like start looking. But it really is worth looking, and then maybe chuck it out on a Substack or something like that, and maybe tag somebody else in, because somebody somewhere is collating all this information. Or somebody might say something, and then you know, you might think, oh, I've read an article this week, it's from 2 years ago, but it just made something chop into place. How they were rejecting Stonewall, one council was rejecting the Stonewall information, but they're pushing, their own council is pushing social affirmation from another policy. So it didn't matter that they were rejecting the Stonewall, they're putting it in elsewhere. But unless you're keeping your eye on the councils and the schools and collating this information, then we've got no idea what's going on. Anyway, that's me. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to tell you all about this party that I've got called Party of Women. And look, I'm not going to be Prime Minister. I know, it's wrong in so many ways. But that's not the point of the party. The point of the party is, no matter who you're thinking you're going to vote for, and you can vote for whoever you like, to be fair, but there's not a single party that actually understands what we stand for from a woman's point of view. And I met Mr. Farage, and he genuinely thought that your body changes when you take hormones, that you become something else. I probably shouldn't say because it was a private conversation, but he's a public figure, and in many ways, so am I. So I feel like I should tell you, and then they ghosted me anyway. Mid-call with Richard Tuck. I was mid-phone call, and he said, "Oh, just a minute, something's come up, I'll call you back." Never heard from him again. It was quite something. But I think if you can help this, because I see other people speaking about this stuff on the television. I don't see anybody speaking about this stuff like we do at Let Women Speak. I just don't. I see a lot of people kind of get it, and often it's just not, the delivery's not great. But what we do here at Let Women Speak, and what Party of Women does, is it creates conversations in which women who normally wouldn't feel they could get involved can get involved. And it puts conversations in places where they normally wouldn't happen. So if you're not a member of Party of Women, please join. And if you want to, you really should be thinking about why don't you, stand. Because there's Scottish and Welsh elections coming up, and there will be council elections and by-elections, and it's really important that, look, it's unlikely that you're going to win, but you are going to be given the chance to post accurate information through the letterboxes of, we did nearly 1 million in the elections, and those 1 million people, some of them will have read that leaflet and they would have talked to families, and we just have no idea. In fact, I think some people that stand do have an idea about what impact that makes, just receiving something that says the truth, especially when we know right now in this country we are just overwhelmed with bullshit and with things that we're not allowed to talk about. We can see things happening with our very eyes, and we're being told that you can't really see it, it's not really happening, and if you recognise it, you must be far right. And I'm talking about a load of things. We have the police coming, and we know that if the people were having St George Cross flags, they would have been treated very differently. We know that there is a huge swathe of middle class people that see people very differently based on characteristics. We know that happens. We like to think that we're post that, but for many people they are not. And we need to make sure that we continue to speak the truth in places where the truth seems to have vanished. Would you like to speak? Not you. You're still too early. You know, you peaked too soon. Yeah, I'm sure it's a story of your life. Hello.
Hello. So, hello everybody. My name is Annie, and that's Michelle, my girlfriend. So, many years ago, when I was about 10 or so, I had 5 brothers. I remember telling my mom that I wanted to be a... Okay, so many years ago, when I was about 10, I remember telling, I had 5 brothers, and I remember quite clearly telling my mother that I wanted to be a boy because I wanted to have a penis like my brothers, and I wanted to wear boys' clothes and all that kind of stuff. And her treatment was to take me to Catholic girls' boarding school, and that messed me up even more. But what I'm saying is, if this was now, I'm scared to think what... Anyway, my mother is an African, so she probably wouldn't let me mutilate myself. But parents really now are mutilating their children based on feelings which are probably genuine. You know, they've got dysmorphia, but feelings that usually are quite transient. We all know that. And they're making life-changing, irreversible changes to their bodies and making them like believe that they're the opposite sex, which, like you said, we know is not true. So that's the first thing. Now, in my personal experience of how women's rights are being evaded happened just before COVID, when I used to run a burlesque exercise class, dressed, fully clothed burlesque exercise class for women in my village. I live in a very small village in Northamptonshire, and we had about 40 women attending my classes twice a week. All shapes and sizes. It was the one place that they could have girly time, and we could do all the moves in our clothes and feel, you know, like a sort of body, no body shaming involved, feel self-confident. And that ran for about 7 months until somebody came who insisted that he too was a girl and he wanted to join the class. I asked the ladies, and you know how we are in England, everybody, oh, it's okay, we don't mind. But the next week, about 20 people dropped off, and then that was the end of that business. I went to the council and I was told that actually, if I didn't let this person attend the class, then I was no longer allowed to use the council hall. So there goes another service for women. And it was before that I had a live and let live attitude, but that was the first time I realized actually we're going down a really dangerous, very dangerous path, where I don't really call them men, I call them weak men. Because real men, most real men, I have 5 brothers, they don't want to be in women's spaces. They still believe that no means no. You know, real gentlemen, when they approach you and you say no, they'll be, I beg your pardon, I'm really sorry, and they would leave you alone. So these are not men. I think it's unfair to keep calling them men because they're not real men. They're the weakest of men. They're the low of the low who are actually afraid and unable to actually compete with real men. So you know what they do? They think, okay, we can't compete in the male arena. Why don't we go and compete with the girls? Because they know they have a physical advantage. So they go into girl sports, and of course they become, from the weakest man, they become now the best. Last year, 2 men won the pool championship of England. The women's pool championship was won by 2 men. They should be ashamed of themselves. So my only view is, please, let's not even give them the satisfaction of calling them men, because real men don't want to compete with women. These are all sissies for all I know. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Very good.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Thank you so much. No worries. Well done. Okay. Any other women? Come on. Oh, sorry. There's what I just said. Yes, then you. Come. No, you come. I'm going to pinch your t-shirt.
That's all right. Okay, hi, so I just wanted to tell you all, can you hear me okay? I've got to speak really loudly, I know, but then they complain that I'm shouting on the YouTube.
All the YouTube.
Okay. So I want to tell you about a demonstration that's happening in London on November the 1st. It's a Saturday. And it's called 199 Days Later. So on November the 1st, it will be 199 days since the Supreme Court has explained to us and clarified what sex means in the Equality Act. Now, I know, as Kellie-Jay said earlier, that the Equality and Human Rights Commission has said that it will take some organisations that are still breaking the law, it will take action against those. But there are many organisations which are still breaking the law. We know this. So it's really important that we put as much pressure as possible on the government and on organisations to actually follow the law on single-sex provision. So you can follow the that hashtags, which will be hashtag 199 days later. And also it's being organised by grassroots women, and you can follow on Twitter, on X, you can follow us on @acts, that's ACTS _grassroots. Yeah, so turn up, men and women can come along, and the main protest will be happening at 1 o'clock that day, but do follow for updates. And just a quick plug as well for the No Men in Women's Prisons, so the hashtag No Men in Women's Prisons. So do follow us again if you haven't already at No M in W Prisons. This is one area where the government really is still breaking the law, because there are still men in women's prisons. As far as I know, they haven't taken any out. Well, there might be one who was the axe murderer who was in Downview, but they've moved another guy into Downview now, Zoe Watts. Let's think of his real name, not Gavin, can't remember his real name, I did know it earlier, Kyle, okay. They've moved him in there, and the worrying, there are, I think in total about 10 in the whole of England. 7 of them are in Downview, but the worrying thing is that government ministers keep suggesting that Downview, the E-wing which is there, is not part of the women's estate. So actually what they're doing is they seem to be now putting men into that wing. So they are basically breaking the law because it is a woman's prison. Anyway, do come along on November the 1st. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm always doing it.
So sorry about that. I was talking to that Ecuadorian woman. Hanoa. So sorry. Stop it, Kellie-Jay. Yes. Woo!
Thank you.
I'll pinch you.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't really open your t-shirt.
I don't mind. I just want to talk about the state of the country, really. Feel free to whoop or boo, please. So, if we look at our children and what we've left for them, we have taken away free speech, a safe country, a carefree childhood, the ability for them to grow up and earn a decent wage, even if they're not really clever. Factory jobs are gone, production is gone. Education. Our education is now the worst it's been since 2018, and that's for English and maths. We've taken away parents that haven't got the ability to earn a decent amount to take their children on holiday. Decent healthcare system, because God forbid we do something about the NHS and the money that we're pouring into it all the time. We've got roads. We've got a road near us that's got a sign on it saying do not defecate in the street, right? I call it the shit road. We walk past, we go on the other side because we know there's a guy that regularly takes a poo on that road. We didn't have to have this. This was not how our country was even 5 years ago. And now we've also got children that are ideologically indoctrinated with critical race theory, climate change, and trans, and I think of them as the same because they are all intermixed. If you've got one, it's very likely you're going to, and now I'd add the pro-pally to that as well, you know. Right, so I think that everyone is living in a state of hypervigilance at the moment. You know when you have a baby and you're frightened something's going to happen to it all the time, so you're sort of checking on them. I think we're all living like that, but we've kind of forgotten that we're living like that. We haven't noticed. About 3 years ago, men started thinking about the Roman Empire a lot. Have you heard about that? Yeah? Well, I think they were doing that because it's the start of a civilization. And I said to my son, and my son was 12, and I said, do you think about the Roman Empire? And he said, only 2 or 3 times a day. And my son isn't clever, he's not particularly academic, he's not someone that you think would think about the Roman Empire, but it's in his psyche. He too knew that there's something going on. Men are thinking like that. And if you look at gyms now, a lot of men are going to gyms. They're going and getting fit, they're trying to eat better. So there's obviously something going on in this country. Now, we've got all the talk of civil war and David Betts, and that everyone thinks something's going to be happening soon. And it wouldn't surprise me because the biggest stain that we've had in this country is the grooming gangs, or Pakistani rape gangs, as far as whatever you want to call them, that's what they are. And now, after the Allied forces went into Germany in World War II, 2 million women were raped. 10,000 women ended up dying through botched abortions or they killed themselves, and the ages of these women ranged from 8 to 80. They didn't care. There were even stories of people showing dead bodies to Allied forces and saying, that's my wife, and then them going, oh, I'm sorry about that, because so many women were raped. Now, the estimate for us in this country is at least 1 million girls have been raped by the gangs. Now, we look at World War II and go, 2 million, that's terrible. That's really awful. This is still happening. It's still going on. It's a war crime if it's happening then, but it's not a war crime if it's happening now. And how can we really moan about the fact that some girls want to be more masculine, they want to keep away, they want to reject their femininity, where the other side of that is either porn or God knows what could happen to you. Right, okay, where am I? Yeah, so many of the girls are still suffering. So I want to say that whenever people say patriarchy, it makes me turn off a little bit, because I want people to start looking at the actual issues now, and don't flinch because you don't want to look at a difficult issue or say the wrong thing. Have the conversation. If you can see through the trans cult, which you all are because you're all sitting here, then you should be able to see through the whole thing. Don't peek halfway. Don't say, right, well, I agree with this bit, but I don't agree with that. Look at everything that you're being told everywhere. We've all got Twitter now. We can all do it. Don't think just because that person's more centre-right, I'm not going to agree with them. Look at the actual issue. Right, I'm on 4 now. Right, so our government has tone-policed us for long enough. And the Liberal state, I think, is failing, and I think we all know it. We can all see it. We all know that there's something going on. Our country's not benefited, and I do feel for the young people that have never known a settled country. They've never known the comfort of being able to go out and feeling as safe as we all did. It's a constant battle to relax. Everywhere you go, people look miserable. You can tell they're worried about their bills, they're worried about their houses, they don't know what's going to happen at the next election, they don't know who's going to be in power, and so many people feel politically homeless now. So the Liberal elite have failed 1 million girls, and they've paid the price, and I'm going to watch the whole of it fall down, and I'm going to be really happy about it, because it needs to, because we need to build something better for our children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other women? Women? No. Yes? I'll pin you up. I'm going to pinch your top. Okay?
It doesn't matter if he's got his dick out next to your daughter in the ladies. It's for transgender rights. It doesn't matter if they rape and slaughter Israelis. It's free Palestine.
It doesn't matter if they buy babies and bring The Handmaid's Tale to life. It doesn't matter if women die. It's for the LGBTQ and I. It doesn't matter if little schoolgirls aren't safe on the streets. It's more important to protect grown men from a tweet. It doesn't matter if 3 girls end up in the back of a hearse. He's not a terrorist, just a little bit neurodiverse. It doesn't matter if 250,000 little girls are raped, enslaved and tortured every single day. Just look the other way, sis. Because somebody might say something a bit racist to a racist man who raped kids. And people might start to think that they're more likely to rape, even though they kind of imply it themselves when they force their women and their girls to cover up their hair and their face. And don't you dare suggest that some cultures are more violent, when that's the same sodding reason that they're granting them asylum. It doesn't matter if they murder women over the burqa. It doesn't matter if they marry girls at the age of 9. You just have to learn to be more tolerant of another way of life. And what about his life? What about his career? It doesn't matter if rape's on the rise, because men from the most misogynistic cultures in the world are welcome here. And if he rapes your daughter, we can't deport him. Sorry, women, your rights are just not that important. Your pensions, we can't afford them. There's just not enough money to go around. Have you had a little think about whether you'd like the NHS to put you down? It doesn't matter if women are trafficked, if women are for sale, because we've got to think about the lonely men and the disabled males. It doesn't matter if schoolgirls need stitches. It'll impede men's free speech to ban barely legal bitches. Doesn't matter if grooming gang girls never escape, because when they turn 18, they're an empowered queen on Pornhub's front page. Doesn't matter if he tries to rape you. It's not all men, don't be a man hater. But if you let your guard down and he attacks you, we'll turn right around and blame you. Doesn't matter about his behaviour. What about men's mental health? We can't jail the pedo because he might kill himself. And I think to myself, isn't it obvious by now what their agenda is? Because they only give a crap about human rights when it enables them to rape women and little kids.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. You're not getting that on any panel, are you? That's not at Philia, so fuck you all. Oh, that was refreshingly wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so there's a lady that's attended today whose son claims to be trans. Can I just, as a bit of housekeeping, we still will be going down to Speaker's Corner. It's a highlight for me. What's wonderful about down there is that I don't think there are any other women our age, my age, I mean some of you might be older, younger, but there's not too many middle-aged women down there, which makes it quite beautiful. And the young women that have been, that try to argue, often get really shouted at and intimidated a lot. But some of the little pricks that try and shut us up are like the same age as my children. So I'm quite well equipped for such things. Okay, so this is from the lady whose son thinks he's trans. Let's see if she's put... In 2020, thousands of our children went to university, but the campuses closed, so their courses and social lives went completely online. Also in 2020, the then Twitter and Facebook were busy removing gender-critical comments and banning accounts of anyone criticising trans ideology. Our children were being bombarded with preferred pronouns and gender identities. They were exposed to trans rights activists and groomers, hiding behind anime profile pictures. So I've cut it a little bit because I don't think my voice will manage. I asked West Streeting and the government this: why are you allowing private gender clinics to profiteer by prescribing hormones to young adults who've clearly been indoctrinated? Why are you allowing private gender clinics to profiteer by performing surgeries on young adults that have clearly been indoctrinated? You know as well as I do that humans can't change sex. You know as well as I do that people in their late teens and 20s are not mature enough to make these huge decisions. You know as well as I do that someone believes with all of their heart at 23 is not what they believe at 33, 43, 53 or 63. We need the UK government to intervene to protect these indoctrinated young adults from themselves and to allow them to mature. Private gender clinics are prescribing hormones to young men and young women at their very first appointment. There is no course of psychotherapy, there is no delay. The patient simply has to give correct response to any questions the doctor asks, and of course these young people will have to lie through their teeth to get the drugs they want. And she doesn't say this, but what we know is that there are loads of online forums which tell these children exactly what they have to say in order to get the drugs. All they need to do is say the right things and they pay up. They're not really patients, they're customers. The medical rule of first do no harm quickly goes out the window when a doctor is able to make £400 an hour by simply writing a prescription. And who has to pay for the medical care of these young people long term once the private gender clinics have put them on this destructive pathway? Well, the NHS. Has the government got any figures for how much for the care of trans identified people is going to cost the NHS in the future? What will the cost of dealing with the disabling effects and specific illnesses caused by these cross-sex hormones and testosterone blockers? What will the cost of dealing with mental illness, anger and depression? What about the cost of dealing with the botched surgeries and the cost of attempting to perform impossible reversals? How much is this going to cost, Mr. Streeting? Well, him personally, fuck all. And what about the massively increased risk of suicide of those who've had medical interventions? Well, as rightly pointed out by our poet, there's always a bit of healthy suicide. Young adults need protecting from these unscrupulous doctors in these private clinics, and action is long overdue. The government has asked for input from the public regarding the private prescribing of drugs, and you'll note that it was Sue Evans that took that case to court and she lost. Please find the government's call for evidence document online. Google private non-HS prescribing call for evidence document. Explain to the government that the clinics are prescribing cross-sex hormones to the very first appointment to those with autism, ADHD, depression, those with recent bereavements, those who've had family breakdown, gay people, basically anyone who turns up with the money regardless of how many red flags there may be. These doctors are ruining young people's futures and there is currently nothing to stop them. Private gender clinics should be banned in the UK. No private doctor should be allowed to prescribe cross-sex hormones to any patient. No private doctor should be allowed to perform so-called gender-affirming surgeries on any patient. The import of cross-sex hormones for personal use in the UK should be made illegal. Taking cross-sex hormones in the UK without a prescription should be made illegal. Giving cross-sex hormones or testosterone blockers to any person in the UK should be illegal. GPs should also stop prescribing these hormones to anyone who initially was prescribed privately, and these people should have to go through the NHS. The private clinics are making easy money by ruining lives, and they need to be stopped. These people ruin my child's life and must be prevented from harming any more young adults. Please fill in the government survey for call for evidence and ask your MPs, and please do all you can to help these unethical clinics banned. Thank you. Julia mentioned some of the things happening abroad, and let me just remind you that the Ukraine, Ukraine, the country that's so wonderful, was the sex trafficking capital of Europe. And also the surrogacy trafficking capital of Europe. And so when we think about these wonderful countries, it's always marred with a big fat dollop of nasty misogyny that seems to ooze through its every pore, And Ukraine is no different. Not saying that Russia is anything, by the way, I'm just making the point about Ukraine. I think Russia has between 40 and 60 deaths per week of domestic violence because they've basically decriminalised it. So, you know, when there's two sides, they're both, it's difficult to think who do I most want to lose about the people in power and obviously the people at the bottom, predominantly women and children, and the soldiers that get pushed to the front line, grabbed off the streets and made to fight. They are the ones that pay the highest price for the decisions made by the elite. And let me just remind you also that one of the things that happens in all war is organ trafficking. And you find bodies of people at the side of the road where they've had all their organs harvested. So please, when you're thinking about, oh, why don't we get involved? No fucking thank you. No thank you. Not my sons. No thank you. Okay, it's going to be, it's like the smooching bit at the end, except I won't say it. It's the penis section, everyone. Yes, would you like to? Oh, was there another woman? Oh, it's Bernadette. Come back off your holiday. Were you still on like African time or something? St. Lucia time?
I'm so late and I'm really sorry if this has already been spoken about.
She's got 8 pages, front and back. No.
2 minutes.
So it's not penis time at all, it's your time. It's for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, my name's Bernadette. I have spoken, thank you, that's very kind of you. I have spoken here before on behalf of Women's Declaration International, but kind of going a bit off piece.
Did you speak louder before?
I did, sorry. I'm kind of going a bit off piece today, and I'm going to be talking about something that affects women. And I've got a bit of a thought experiment for you. And I'd like you to all think back to the pandemic. And I'd like you to think about what it was to live behind a mask. It muffled our voices and our smiles, and it cut us off from the world. And it wasn't just the masks. We were told where to go, when to leave our houses, how long we could stay out. Our movements were restricted and our freedoms were controlled. And I want you to imagine that the pandemic didn't end. It's still going on. Imagine if only women were forced to live this way. And the men could show their faces, go where they pleased, while the women were covered, contained and controlled. What that would mean to women and how we would no longer be counted as actually part of society. And the pandemic was the analogy I could kind of think of that we could maybe all dip back into a past and think about. And this is the reality for millions of women in the world. And I want you to all think to yourselves, how abusive does the abuse of another woman have to be before we all stand up and say, that's not right? And I want you to think about this. In the UK, we don't excuse harm just because it's called culture. We not only reject these cultural practices, we've made them illegal. So child marriage, illegal. Female genital mutilation, illegal. Polygamy, illegal. The exclusion of girls in education, illegal. Not even a question. The killing of gay men, illegal. Who knew? We don't throw them off the top of buildings for being gay. Culture is never an excuse for cruelty. And yet, female face covering across the world is accepted. We see entire societies built on the cruelty of women. Taliban women, banned from education, barred from public life, forced to cover their faces under threat of punishment. Iranian women, beaten up or imprisoned for showing their hair. These are not cultural quirks. They are deliberate acts of control. They strip women of their dignity, erase them from public life and reduce them to something less than human. As a woman who lived in Saudi for a few years, who was harassed by the religious police to cover my hair and cover my ankles. I do not need the pandemic to imagine. I lived it for 4 years and it was my life. And that is why this is quite passionate for me, and I support the women globally who fight this. And as one of those women is stood here, right in front of us, I support Kellie-Jay's call to free your face. Here in the UK, it is not illegal for women to show their face. Women are equal to men, equal in rights, equal in law, equal in humanity. In the UK, so let us stand together, say no to silence, no to invisibility, and no to being women hidden away. And in the UK, every woman can be seen, and every woman is free. And I believe it is our duty as free people to let every woman know that. Thank you. I just wonder if you wanted to see what I used to wear.
Yes.
Just so you know, it's very moth-eaten. It was a long time ago. And I have I have, there you go, look what I did.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, there you go. So it's very moth-eaten because it was a while ago in Saudi that I lived there. But this is how you would go around, and then when you were harassed, you would do that and make sure your feet were uncovered. So,
Wow.
it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You can now. There's no other women, are there? Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. Not for fuck's sake, you. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just wanted to say thank you for having me. It's my first London-based Let Women Speak. So it's almost 2 years since my first Let Women Speak, and most of you saw that, and I was terrified, and Kellie-Jay knows I was about to throw up before I went on. Things have changed significantly, and it is thanks to Let Women Speak and the fact that you give a voice to women who are not necessarily academic language, the proper language, just normal, ordinary women, and it gives us the confidence to speak up and use our voices. And in saying that, I'm going to brag now a little bit. I, on behalf of my organisation, Not All Gays, successfully intervened in the Sandy Peggy case. For the trans rights activists who are having a melter because I'm an Irish woman who intervened and I'm too young, and how do I know English law? One, I live here now. Two, I work in law, and also there was no objections from Dr. Upton's solicitor or counsel, including Jane Russell, so I don't know what to tell you, maybe take it up with them, but they didn't care and they had no problem with my words. So what we intervened was basically stop using lesbians to justify men and women's spaces, and don't bring up anyone's, like a third party, Nicole Peggy, and she, like, I'm in contact with her, she's happy for us to know now, obviously, but Nicole Peggy, Sandy Peggy's daughter, her sexuality was dragged up and down that courtroom with no objection from the judge. It was completely allowed to happen, and that's why I interjected and successfully intervened, because how dare you do that to a young lesbian, and how dare you use her sexuality to justify a bloke getting an erection in the women's fucking changing room. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, right, before I get this guy's hopes up again, any other women? Yes, you may. Shut up. Come on.
I've got stage fright now.
Well,
thanks, Marilyn. Yeah. Okay. I think it is time. This country has always done better when women lead it. It's time to let a woman run this country. And I'm a pretty blokey bloke. Sorry about that. If I say anything inappropriate, I've got the autism going on. I've got a bit of ADHD. But, you know, I want to lead, you know, a normal life. Everything that's been said here is moderate, is common sense, and I would fully agree. I don't need to repeat. But the thing is, you guys need to go down there and basically take these idiot men on, because we have fascists down there, and I would name them. We have radical Islamists down there, and I would name them. That place has become an absolute cesspit by men. I am very disappointed to hear what you said about Farage. I think he is too weak to lead this country. We need a woman in charge, yeah? And I think that what is happening, Marilyn, what is happening? What is happening is we have men hijacking your issues, and they are hijacking it by behaving like a load of football louts. I saw them in the summer. Everybody knows what's happened with the grooming gangs. Everybody knows that a certain Thomas has basically highlighted this. But it's time to let women speak, because we have a dangerous ideology in this country. And unless people like you step up and actually tell it like it is, you're going to have more men go and cause more trouble, and we're going to have total social disorder and chaos. I turned up at one of these hotel things, and I was aggressively treated by a man. I mean, he knows me. If you were saying anything I disagreed with, I'd be chirping away, and I have waited patiently. It's time for people like you to go and engage with the idiots down there. They are total idiots. People like Bob, he's a fascist. I've labelled him a fascist. He's calling for new What's that? I'm not. You need to go down and let women speak at that corner. I know that I came with a couple of people a year ago. I don't have any associations with them. I found out what they were like. But you need to take the sensible issues which you are saying, and you need to take it to our politicians. You need to take it to all the parties, because all of our parties are becoming hijacked by this trans ideology. I think J.K. Rowling has spoken out on it. Yeah? You need to get involved, because if you do not get involved, we are going to lose things, and we are letting idiot fascists start up men behaving badly and basically hijacking your issues. So I've really enjoyed my time. I'm really looking forward to see your performance down at the Speaker's Corner. So hopefully that's the end of number one time. Thank you very much for letting me speak. Thanks, Marilyn.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing a striptease down at Speaker's Corner for the men with the illegal thoughts. Yeah, just my glasses. Yes. Sorry. It's the only person from Iceland that I know.
Hello, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. My name is Eldur. Some of you may know me already. I've been coming sporadically to these events for the last 3 years, I think. And I would really like to say thank you to Kellie-Jay and to all of you, because I don't think you realize how much impact you are actually having on women elsewhere. In Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, where I am from, they are watching, and I would really encourage all of you to keep on coming. Don't get complacent in the fight. I know the UK is, quite a few steps ahead our countries in the Nordic region, for example. Don't get complacent. Keep the fight. Keep coming. On a personal note, I'm a gay man. And I've been speaking out since 2015, it's 10 years. And I thought I was going insane. And then I stumbled across a YouTube video with Kellie-Jay Keen, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. So there are others. I was starting to think that I was getting radicalized into some sort of bigotry, and I was losing my mind. But then I found out that I was actually not alone. I was a lone voice for a long time, but then I found all of you, and then I found others, which is great. I'm under criminal investigation in Iceland on 3 different accounts for, amongst other things, criticizing men for breastfeeding infants, for taking drugs to induce some sort of lactation to breastfeed an infant that they haven't even given birth to. And what motivates these actions of a man, you can only guess. The word starts with a P and ends with an A. and this is why our criminal investigation and the claim is I have now called all men autogynephiles who are playing mummy pedophiles. Yeah. I'm also under criminal investigation in Iceland for criticizing the national parliament for legislating that men can give birth, which is absolutely absurd, like everyone knows. So sorry, penis haver who came here before me, I don't think the key is to be that our country should be necessarily led by a woman. It needs to be led by the right women, because trust me.
Thank you.
Because trust me, in Iceland, we have only women in the top post. We have the president of Iceland, who is a female. We have the bishop of Iceland, who is a female and who happens to have a trans-identified male son. And so does her sister. Can you believe it? And we still can't say social contagion. We have the state prosecutor, a female. We have the chief of police, female. We have 6 out of 10 cabinet ministers, female. Prime minister being one of them, and the foreign minister. So you can see the system is stacked up against me because all of these women subscribe to this queer theory ideology. Even the state, I've been reported to the police by the organization that claims to be defending my human rights as a gay man, and they want me incarcerated for 2 years. And who is going to prosecute me? A member of the same organization who is a state prosecutor and a lesbian, and so I don't stand a chance. And so yeah, but like I said, it has to be the right women, and it has to be we need to eradicate this ideology, because what is happening in the universities, it's not education, like you said, it's indoctrination, and these kids and parents should be suing the universities for intellectual injury. But that's what I want to say, so thank you very much.
The camera's not on you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to round up and then we're going to go down to a little chat with the men. Oh, highlight of my month. Okay, so we gather here. We gather here as women without borders, ironically, because there's no division between those young ladies with their faces covered. Us, we all deserve the same rights, and that's something that I believe and have always spoken about. I think it's like I said, I was on a Spectator TV and I said I was an Islamophobe before it was fashionable. Frankly, my view is if you are not frightened of Islam and what it brings to this country, you haven't been listening. What it will do to women and our liberty, and we see it already. We see it already. In Tower Hamlets, you barely see people's faces, women's faces, right? Now imagine you come from that one family there, you're a Muslim family, you come from that one family where your father and your brother, they're not going to beat the living shit out of you if you don't cover your face. Do you feel that you can walk about in Tower Hamlets with your face uncovered? Do you think, honestly, the men don't see women with their faces uncovered as different if all faces are covered? That woman's face becomes something else if our faces are continuously covered. The uncovered woman is a slut. She deserves it. Like that bloke that I argued with a few weeks ago down there. The uncovered woman is basically encouraging the illegal thoughts of men. And I'll tell you where that came from, so just very briefly before we go down there and we have some fun. That man argued that children that weren't covered were encouraging paedophiles. That's basically what he said. And I'm going to tell you where that thinking comes from, because I've thought about this a lot, and I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from Pakistani families having a discussion. How did those girls in Rotherham, in Derby, in Oxford, in Telford, in Bristol, wherever in the country, how did they get raped? Well, they were uncovered. They were asking for it. They weren't looked after by their families, which is one of the things he said. If it's the mother's fault. What? Thanks. It's the mother's fault if your daughter gets raped. And actually what he thought, which can only come from a culture where all men are fucking awful, he thought if you haven't got a man with you, you get raped. So if you don't want your daughter to be raped, you've got to accompany her everywhere, because the expectation is that there are so many fucking rapists that if you're not chaperoning your daughter, she's going to get raped. Now, my husband doesn't think like that about my daughter, because we don't come from a culture where there are loads of rapists. Not saying there's no rape. Fucking hell. We all know there's some pretty bad behaviour in this country. It's not like most of us haven't been on the receiving end of some of it, right? But even the worst of those men don't think it's all right to tell everyone that they're the worst of those men. There is at least some stigma about being a dirty pervert in this country. Some. Not enough, but some. I don't know if you saw the thing with Ross Kemp and the 2 men in Africa. And he said, well, you know, what about the girl when you rape them? Yes, it is terrible because she might scream and wake people. You're like, oh my God. So, we have our own issues. We don't need to bring about more, and we certainly don't need to excuse it. We don't need to excuse people and their terrible behaviour, their disgusting, despicable misogyny and violence, because they're grown somewhere else, because their culture isn't ours. Like, this is the United Kingdom, a country where girls deserve, if they fucking want to walk home at night without fearing being raped, whoever's going to do it. And I feel nothing but sadness when I see young women with their faces covered like those that walk past. I don't think we need to en masse harass them. But I do think, and I will stand by this, I think that when you see a woman with her face covered, you can smile and you can say, free your face. Now, she might think you're a fucking asshole for doing that, but there might be one woman that's never ever heard that anyone gives a shit about her at all. That she is completely hidden behind that mask and she is erased, which is the whole point. So I feel that when I interject, when I say to those women, free your face, I am saying to them, I see you as a human being and I think that you should be free. And you can wear lipstick if you want. But I think that what that does to some of those, when I intervene with that family, I want those little girls as they grow up to say, oh, there was someone once. There was someone who saw us once and told my dad that he was wrong. There was someone once. And that's all that we can do. And maybe that flourishes into some sort of hope and maybe she will be free. We don't know, but that's the hope. Anyway, if you can speak about these things that might make you uncomfortable and listen to things that will make you uncomfortable, and you still do it with an open mind, then I promise we will win. If you can keep making sure that you are moving forward, that you are having conversations that need to be had with people, whether it's your children's school, whether it's your kids' university, whether it's complaining to the NMC, whether it's talking to the General Medical Council, wherever it is that you need to make your voices heard, as long as you keep doing it, I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Why? Well, because I never lose. Right, well, go down there. You've got someone else to hold it. Are you going to collect some of the licks or? Yeah.
Kelly.
Well. Hello! You alright?
Well done, Kelly.
Thank you. What's that?
Because 5 years ago, I came to the book.
Oh, is it 5 years? Oh, is it?
Yeah, August 2020.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
That's good.
Sainsbury's was shit. I can't give you
Oh, thank you. Is it really 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Fucking hell.
You're going down the path now.
Yeah.
I think, Kelly, you've got to find a way of standing up to but working with people who support Tommy Robinson. Would you care to go and interview with the channel?
Yeah.
I think the trouble is we have loads of people in separate...
Look, I'll tell you what happens, and this happens all the time. Women's issues, men don't care about so much. Which
Men
is
are selfish idiots, basically.
well, and also men's issues. Like I've seen. There's a few men in this space, and they created their own little media platform for themselves, right? And that's not about empowering. Like we're more about empowering women to speak for themselves.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know, it's.
There's a lot of women that are more interested in virtue signaling.
Oh yeah, no, we're not faultless. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying.
No, you're not faultless, but if you'd have said anything I disagreed with, I would have chipped in. But I didn't hear anything. I mean, the thing is that we have. It's like I said.
I'm going to talk and walk.
Oh, let's go.
And you've got the other one, Mary. Okay, amazing.
Remind me in the pub. First one's on me.
Yeah.
Don't anybody say what pub it is.
Nag's Head. Oh, have you got my... Oh, thanks, Iris. Did you see? I saw a woman at a beach taking a seagull in her bag. Seagull. See that video? I assume there was loads of swans have gone missing somewhere and geese. Oh, they were the queen swans. Are they not the king swans?
Yeah, absolutely. Kelly, have you read Margaret Thatcher's book?
No.
You should read it.
I was born on the day Mary Whitehouse was born.
Oh God, it's 1969.
No, not on the same day. All right, birthday. On her birthday.
You're in your 50s.
I'm 51. I'm not like well in my 50s.
You've been watching too many Madonna videos. Sorry, I'm not exactly subtle. I'm not known for being...
Well, I was more of a fan of Marilyn.
She's one over the crowd.
Did I win the crowd or not?
Marilyn. I went Marilyn Monroe. That's fine. You carry on.
The issue that she's talking about, yeah? Because men are hijacking it.
Yeah, they are.
Is it real? Really?
I'm not even going to talk about him because he annoys me too much.
They're just dumb men. Because you know what Rupert Lowe did with the microboat?
No.
There was a microboat off Great Yarmouth. Like, what the hell does he know about sailing? I mean, even anyone who lives on the coast knows you cannot get lost at Great Yarmouth on a microboat. But anyway, see what you got planned this week. I missed it last time.
I'm going to have to walk a bit quicker because I'm going to cough. Because the smoking. I've got such a bad chesty cough.
It's the same look.
Well, it's both chesty and then dry and then thirsty and anyway. What is that flag? That's fucking ridiculous. That's a sheet. It's huge. Dominating what?
Well, he goes, because men are dominating.
Ah. Who's he talking about? Oh.
What's with the flowers, Marilyn?
Somebody gave them to me. I'd love you to.
You guys should be debating these issues with people now.
We do fucking debate them. What do you think I'm doing?
Come down more often.
I'll tell you what, you give me the petrol money and I'll keep coming up.
Create a few more weekends.
No, I mean, it's good that you come once a month, yeah? We sort of know when you're coming.
Yeah, and then in the other times of the month I go elsewhere.
Yeah, I can see what you do. I can see what you're trying to do. Do you actually chat to JK Rowling?
No.
No, wish you could. And the thing is, it's like people need to network and build.
Yeah, oh my God, I thank God you're here. I wouldn't have known any of this had you not come along.
What's that?
Can you get away? I've told her many times, get out of my face.
Why is there so many flags there? Right, should we go and stand right in the middle? What question?
In the Netherlands, a 17-year-old girl was killed by asylum seekers brutally murdered. So now the feminists are going around and they say it's femicide, and they should keep all men in after 8 o'clock in the evening. What's your thought on that?
In the Netherlands?
Is that nuts?
Sounds a bit nuts to me.
Yeah,
sounds a bit nuts.
That's what they're arguing.
Just need to punish people and start getting your police active. That might help. That might help. I'm going to go and stand in. Are you ready? We'll go and stand in the middle. I really should have brought a ladder, but we'll just gather here. Fucking hell. I'll switch that off a minute. Okay, come in, come round. Take up some space. Come in, come round.
The false religion. Allah is the false God. Muhammad is a pedophile from hell.
Hello. Good afternoon. Actually, I'm going to stand a little bit closer to there just to disrupt. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to Turf Island. We come here as a very happy atheist woman to speak about the things that these men think they can talk about here in this space. So, we come here to exercise our free right in this country as free women with our space, with our faces and our hair, to say no to Sharia law. To say that no woman has a penis. No man has a vagina. There's no such thing as non-binary. And transitioning children is profound abuse. We also come here to talk about the women throughout the world who are oppressed by Islam, who are forced to cover their faces. We say, free your face, sister. We say, free your face to women across Saudi Arabia whose husbands are so weak they have to cover their women's faces and they have to cover their women's hair. We say to women in Iran, we hear your suffering when you're in prison for freeing your hair.
You say let women speak, but they don't speak for women.
Yeah, I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself. You should uncover your hair.
I am covering my hair.
You should uncover your hair.
Why?
Because this is not customary. Because when you cover your hair, you insult all the women across Iran who've been in prison and killed for freeing their hair. Yes.
My
yes.
choice to
Yes.
cover myself
Yes.
insulting
Yes.
to women who
Yes.
don't cover.
Yes.
What happened to my body, my choice? What happened
Well, I
to
don't
that?
believe that.
Why don't you believe in it?
Because I don't think that everything you do is in a vacuum. I don't think what you choose for yourself doesn't impact others.
1 second, sorry. Why can't you do what you want to do and I do what I want to do?
Because there are women, well, that would be fine if there were not women in Iran who've been killed and imprisoned.
Yeah, I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
Okay, as a British Muslim.
Because
why is it insulting for me to cover my hair?
Because what you do when you cover is you then make women who don't cover look very different. And so, yeah, you do.
Okay, and you look different to me. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, because when you cover, there begins an expectation and then it spreads. And if too many women cover, it means that the other women can't uncover.
Can I tell you something? I grew up in a very white area, in a very affluent area outside of London.
I can tell.
Right? Why on earth does it matter that I look different to everyone else? If anything, your argument should have applied to me. Oh, like, it doesn't really make sense.
Right, so what I argue about is the fact that women in Iran are imprisoned for uncovering their hair.
You're wearing a Union Jack.
I'm talking about Iran. I'm talking about Iran. I am talking about Iran.
What have I got to do with Iran?
Well, because you're wearing a hijab.
I've never been to Iran. I'm not Iranian.
Right.
We are talking about
what do you think about women in Iran who are in prison for taking off their hijab? Why don't you fly the What do you think about women in Iran who are in prison?
She doesn't want to talk about anything other than Iran. You are wearing a Union Jack.
Yeah.
You are like.
It's probably best not to touch people, but yeah.
I was touching your Union Jack.
Yeah, it's probably best not to do that.
Sorry about that. We are in the UK.
Okay.
Keep it to the UK. Tell me why it's so offensive for me to cover my hair.
Because there are women in prison for uncovering their hair.
That's your argument.
So that's a garment of subjugation, isn't it?
Is there
it's a tool.
anything else?
It's a tool of subjugation.
Answer this question. Is there anything else other than there's women in Iran? In
it's a tool of subjugation.
I cannot speak for Iran. I cannot speak
Can you
for
not
women
hear
in
what the
Iran.
words I'm saying?
Go on, say
it is a tool of subjugation.
It is a tool of subjugation according to who? The women
Everyone.
in Iran, right?
No,
it is not a tool of subjugation
it
for
is.
me. It is not
Why
a tool
isn't
of
he wearing
subjugation
it?
for anyone else.
Why isn't he wearing it?
Because my religion tells me to wear
Why?
my hijab to get me
Why?
closer to God.
Why?
You already know why. You're
Yeah, I
asking
do.
me.
So I'm
exactly.
asking you to explain it. Why?
I cover my head. I wear
What
my
is it?
hijab
What is it?
because God
What
tells
is
me
it?
to.
What is it?
It's a choice.
Yeah, why?
Why do you style your hair?
Why?
Hang
on.
Hang on.
Just
Sorry.
right.
1 second.
Just explain why. Why does it take you closer to God to cover your hair? No, don't
You
darling.
said women
You
speak.
said
Sorry. You said
no.
let women speak.
Answer
You
the
don't like
question.
what I'm saying. That's the bottom line.
And
but you don't like what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm allowed to not like
my choice
it.
to cover offends you. It
Right.
does. No, you said that. It offends you.
Just asking.
It doesn't offend me.
Okay,
You
why
just
does it
like
bring you
this.
closer to God?
Because my God told me to cover my hair.
Why?
To dress modestly.
Why?
And it brings me pride to wear
Why?
it. I'm proud to wear it
Why?
every single day. Because I observe
Yeah,
modesty.
but why does God tell you to cover your hair but not him?
Modesty. I
Why?
observe modesty in this way.
Yeah, why?
Why? Because God's told me to.
Well, why? If God told you to cut your arm, would you do it? Why? Why do you do it? Yeah, but why? Why you and not him?
He observes.
No, he's not wearing a hijab.
No, he does.
He's not wearing a hijab.
In his way.
He's not wearing a hijab.
Listen.
He's not wearing a hijab.
He is wearing a hijab.
He's not wearing.
Hijab is not just for women.
He's not covering his hair.
Hijab is not
He's
just
not. He's not covering his hair.
Listen, you're not listening.
No, because you're not making any sense. You don't know why. You don't know why, do you? Or you're not. No, I'm not going to listen to you. You don't know.
She just said she's not going to listen to me. Okay, honestly,
Can I listen to you? Can I listen to you and then respond and then
You don't know why you're wearing it. You don't know why. You don't. You don't. You can't explain it. You don't know why. You don't know. You don't know why. That's because you're out of words. You're out of words. But thanks. Yes.
Honestly, I'm doing my dissertation on the topic you are talking about.
I was listening to her.
However,
She said,
to me, I call this Islamic.
why would I
She
keep
missed the
saying I'm
point.
in black?
It is not Islamic symbol. It is a religious commitment for her. I'm trying to challenge that. There is no verse in the Quran telling her to do this. That's my point. The challenge is here.
You're saying it's not really in the Quran to wear that. Is that what I can't?
According to the Quran, it is a tradition.
It's a tradition.
But it's not.
Well, plenty of Muslim women don't wear it.
But it is her choice, according to her.
Yeah, it's not though. Yeah, thank you.
Don't talk to me the same.
Anyway, sorry about that, I got distracted. Okay, so we come here to explain that we don't agree with the Iranian regime who force women to cover their hair, or the Saudi regime who still don't step in and protect women whose fathers, uncles, brothers and cousins force women to cover their faces. In addition, we would like to be able to speak about cousin marriage and how dangerous it is in this country, and how we'd like to outlaw cousin marriage to stop the many births in this country that are born, many children that are born with birth defects because their cousins, because their parents are cousins. So we would like to stop these practices, and we would like to say to free your face. You don't have to cover your face in this country. So we don't want to see that. We don't want to see women covering their faces here. I would like to ban the niqab, and I think we should do that as a matter of urgency. I see more and more women in this country covering their faces. It's an absolute disgrace. Anyway, we come here with our vaginas to come in this space to say we will keep coming to let women speak in this place that likes to exclude women with its machismo bullshit. So join me this last Sunday of every month to come and speak the truth about how we see women in this country. I also want to say, just while I'm here, I fully support the protest against the migrant hotels, and I think we need to take issue very, very quickly on behalf of the dignity and safety of women and say no more migration without background checks. So, I hope to see you all maybe sooner than the end of September. Maybe many of you will be going on the 13th of September. And if you are, I'll see you there. Anyway, we came to let women speak.
Are we going to the Paxton text?
No, not anymore. It's a different one.
Thank you, Kellie-Jay.
Oh, it is a Paxton text?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am on live. So, yeah.
I'm going to go and make
Yeah, I'm still live.
That's what I thought. Okay, now.
All right. Just getting boiled in something.
I just got into a little bit of a
It's her toy.
Can I interview you now?
Right,
Yes.
he pointed to one woman in her burqa, and she was white.
All right, my Mary. Just one moment, I'm just going to be interviewed. Hang on. No, you come this way, Mary.
I mean, the thing is, just to ask again, how do you see the role of women in our political party system at the moment?
Well, I think there's a lack of women, but it's quite a gauntlet, isn't it? Hang on, my Mary.
You're an apolitical organisation, are you?
Well, no, I'm not apolitical, so I've got a party called Party of Women.
You've got the Party of Women.
We look at the role of mothers, we look at working, we look at tax with mothers, we look at the role of women in politics, we're looking at sexual violence, migration, the whole gauntlet of things that impact women.
But my question is, do you think we need somebody, and I think it needs to be a woman, to unite the various people who are also speaking about the issues you're talking about today, like the grooming gangs, like the hotels, like the migrant situation.
Have you met women? Have you met women?
I had a very good mother.
Right. I'm gonna let you into a little something. Women don't work well together, and they have egos, but they do it in different ways, so it becomes very difficult to unite women.
Okay.
I've been doing this a long time, and I think what I do is pretty fucking great.
Yeah,
and what we get all the time is women refuse to work with each other if you disagree on one issue. So it becomes really difficult. I mean, I'd love to unite women, but a lot of women don't show up.
Uniting women and men, because there are men who agree with you.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to work with anyone.
But you see, the thing is, it seems like we've got something in common. Is you've had the cold shoulder from Farage, and that party comes across as a load of middle-aged, has-been white men. And the trouble is, we don't have time in this country. We need to stand up for the fact that women are being oppressed in the Asian community. There are Asians who are fed up with the term Asian, because we need to call it out for what it is the Pakistani culture of grooming gangs. And like I say, I think we need more women in every single party, because Liberal Democrats are nice people. They just they've become infested with this liberal ideology, which you are basically talking about.
Yeah, I don't know that they're that nice, actually.
Well, no, but you see,
I think they're misogynist.
The thing is, what is happening, Marilyn Kelly, is that basically you have got men who are now absolutely, they're closing off moderate people's minds because they come across visually as extreme. What comes out of their mouth is extreme, yet what is coming out of your mouth is common sense.
Look, I can't make people come and drink the particular poison that I'm selling, but
I mean, I think I really encourage your movement to try and maybe build links and at least talk.
Hang on. Yeah, that's great.
Do you think women should?
Yeah, but that's great. That's a great thing to say. But I'm routinely cancelled and ignored and ostracised and demonetised. It's very fucking difficult. I do what I do, and people can come to me, and I'll work with anyone. But men come and steal my work, and then they get more credibility for it, and then they take the accolades. I don't know what more I can do except just to be consistent. So that's all I can do.
I would strongly encourage you to go and speak to the various political parties who may give you a platform, including Reform, because I think it's high time.
I've spoken to Reform.
Yeah.
I was mid-call with Reform, and then they ghosted me.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm willing to do whatever, but I'm a risky person. I've been cancelled so many times that people think there's a reason I should be cancelled. So anyway, I have to go. But nice to talk to you.
I encourage you to keep going.
I will do.
What city? What city? They're judging. They're not even going there. Where did you go? Where did you go?
Listen. They have
Where did you go?
They have tweeted.
They don't even go. They don't even go there, and they judge from far away.
No, I judge from the women's testimony when they come and talk.
Go there and then come talk.
No, I talk to the women who live there. You're just a weak man who doesn't mind women being covered up. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Really nice to see you. Hello.
Nice to see you. Jesus is the only answer. I respect you, Kelly, but Jesus
Hi.
is the only answer.
Well, nice to see you. Well, it was fun. You alright?
Well done for being so cool. Under such provocation and such stupidity.
We got everyone.
Julia's gone to the pub. Yeah, Laura's gone to the pub.
Okay. Then we're done. Then we're done.
I know it's not mine. Somebody just said, can you hold that? So I don't know.
It's mine. It's mine. Yeah.
Somebody else had it. Said, can you hold that? And I said,
I don't think we could stop it.